Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
And we get the back view of him. And I mean, it's just a mega.
52 yards is a long shot. Magnum PI is what we named him. No idea.
Just a magnum.
Yeah, just a magnum.
Come on, Cam, last year we said probably 150, mid 150.
Yeah.
Same doe from the morning come out with that 9-pointer.
Here steps out this 90-inch 8-point. You're like,
I'm like, okay, well, there's still a buck back there grunting.
Yeah.
And then out steps like another 90-inch 8-pointer. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm like, deer, right there.
Yeah, like
and he's
30
already
yards.
30 yards.
Yeah.
He was literally 5 yards from the base of the tree. Could have been, had a buck down at 1:40 in the afternoon, back there deep on public. 3 does come out pretty early. It was like 245, 24-yard shot, sent the combat veteran, and I tell you what, man, dude, it just smoked. We always get so jacked up when the other person kills. It's just almost like we got it done.
Yeah. And when you killed that doe, I was like, hell yeah, man.
And we come down here to Missouri.
I asked Comey one more time. I'm like, is it a good buck? And he goes, yeah, real good, solid buck. I'm like, all right, boom. And the deer just drops. Sure. Super special meat.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy. Baller Rut.
Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast, coming in your ear holes, extra crispy. Drunk in a Cabin is the name of this episode. Homie came out of the woodwork with that. Excellent name. We got the White Cat Outdoor Boys on, just talking about how they're living up there in Pennsylvania, their traditions. They built a cabin with reclaimed stuff out in the woods, and yeah, we got a hella glare on the YouTube video.
I'm about to go see Jesus here.
Yeah, that's just on your phone. But yeah, we'll get into the intro, and then we'll get right into the show. You're so prepared right now. Hit us with that a suicide prevention hotline.
Yeah, guys, just trying to get back in the flow here. So the suicide prevention hotline is 1-800-273-8255. They also have a mobile text option and an online chat option. Somebody out there is probably dealing with a lot of stuff, so be sure to share that. And, you know, they're probably not showing any signs of needing help, but somebody out there, you know, probably needs somebody to talk to.
For sure. All right, you got Last Breath TV.
Yeah, they are going to, depending on release here, but they are getting ready to or have started releasing Coyote podcasts, going very in-depth of their setups, and they're talking with people across the country and people that got recommended through their Inner Circle Facebook group, and very excited to listen to some of these here as they start coming out and get into details of how these guys are able to kill a lot of dogs out there. And they got one guy coming on, he's killed over 1,000 dogs.
I know, that's
so
nice.
Very skilled, very high level podcast coming from them into the season that we're in right now.
Yep. And you can catch their show every Monday morning. You can also see our beautiful faces, or homie's beautiful face. Mine's not so solid, but you can catch us on their YouTube via video podcast now. We're really enjoying these.
Yeah.
These Zoom
and
video podcasts.
them Coyote podcasts, they're going to roll out five in a row, Monday through Friday.
Badass,
so it's going to be coming out to
pretty
shoot
cool.
hot.
All right, you got Exodus trail cameras.
Yeah, we talked here a couple weeks ago about running some cams for some turkeys, and I think we're going to do that with a couple of our Exodus cams. And I just kind of wanted to touch on kind of the settings that I'm probably going to run. I'm just going to run like a one-shot burst. Turkey be out there just standing around, you know what I'm saying? Be out there strutting. I'm still going to have a lower delay, the lowest delay, 5-second delay. Don't need anything longer than that, especially since I got the one shot going. Also with these Exodus cams is, you know, turkeys ain't going to be out there at midnight, you know, and you're going to have the camera lower, so you're not really going to get a picture of any deer unless he's, you know, far out to, you know, see if he's shed or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but if you're on a trail or something, you're just going to get a hoof, you know, most likely. So the time of day feature on the Exodus cams, you can turn that puppy off at dusk and dark. So you don't need it taking pictures at 3 a.m. of nothing, or, if you got a stick out there that you don't know. So that's a very good feature. And since it is kind of a new thing for us, we don't want to buy batteries or something. That's also something you can do to conserve battery life too. You're not out there smoking it on a bunch of blanks when you know no turkey's going to come by, which is the ultimate goal that we're shooting for. So you guys can get a cam out there in the springtime when you got a badass 5-year no BS warranty. So if you want to get into that, you can do that at ExodusOutdoorGear.com.
I think some video of mode turkey to be able to add into some like footage if you kill one.
Yeah,
be pretty sweet. You know what I mean?
Just gobbling right in the lens.
Gobbling right.
That would be sick.
That'd be sick. So maybe we can make something that happen. Like Exodus on a stick or something.
On a bush.
Exodus on a bush.
Been there before.
Been there. All right, I got Underwarmer. Like I said, this is a new, or not a new brand. It's been around for a while, but this is a new brand wanting to reach out into the hunting industry and reach out there and, reach some ears. So
I say for good reason.
Yeah, they're running ads on our show, and I wish I had it at work. I've been working nights. You've been working nights. It's been -10, -15, and what it is it's basically like a fitted shirt that you put on that has hand warmers in it. Lasts 12 hours, and I try to stick them to my body sometimes, but they're always falling off, and the hand warmers get too hot. Like the underwarmer doesn't get as hot as a hand warmer, so I've actually put those on my kids and like made red marks on them and not even known before. So you got to be careful with those. The actual hand warmers or the toe warmers that we get at work, like if you put those on your body, they will actually burn you. So that's one thing hand warmer does. It doesn't get as hot, but it warms your core. So if you got like a real cold late season hunt, or you want to do a coyote set, or you're going skiing, or like at work, having that thing to slip on would be.
Grant saying he was wearing it while he was ice fishing.
Yeah, ice fishing would be great. Just out sitting on the water, you're not moving a lot. You might not have the luxury of a nice tent and heater. And if your core is warm, 90% of your body's warm besides your toes and fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the only other thing. And that lower spine, that one on the lower spine, that, me, I'm always sticking stuff underneath my jacket back there. So having this is definitely pretty awesome. So, all right, that's it, right?
That's it, man.
All right, well, let's get in the show. We're about to go talk about Drunk in a Cabin. Here we go. All right, we are here finally with the White Cat Outdoors. This is take 69, and I'm feeling like this one's going to be fresh. How you guys doing tonight? You can hear us? Oh, God, we're not. Good. You guys can hear us. I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you guys just good.
Everything is perfect. So here we are. We're ready to actually start this sucker. we're just going through talking like, we've been doing this for a while, and we still mess up all the time, and this is just like 99% proof that we still know what the hell we're doing. But here we go. All right, man. Well, let's start out with an intro for you guys. Just for our listeners, a little backstory. I seen you guys on Instagram, and I like to listen to new podcasts all the time, so I listened to quite a few of you guys' episodes. Like your flow, like your personality, kind of like us, loose, good vibes, good stories, not taking it too serious, but when it's time to, get some tactics and talk serious, you guys do get into that. But I think it's
sprinkled in.
Yeah, I feel like it's good to have that comedy relief. I try to do it all the time, try to throw an off-ball joke. That's just my personality. Shit just pops up in my head like, I got to say it.
Yeah.
I can't not say this right now. It's too good. So, like the Snapchat group, the whole time after I messaged like 6 times, I'm like, are those girls in here? Because this is real bad. I'm the guy that always gets in trouble for like someone seeing something they shouldn't have seen. But all right, well, past that, let's go ahead and give yourself an introduction to our listeners there.
All right, so my name's Nick. I got cousin Frank here and brother Tom down on the far end. We're White Cat Outdoors. We started, screwing around just ourselves, like back in like 2015, making like stupid hunting videos, like in the blind and stuff. And then about a year or 2 ago, we did like an Instagram page just to more log all of our stuff for ourselves. Really, we weren't like looking for followers or anything. Just have like all 3 of us have access to the account and just post our outdoor stuff. And then about a year ago, decided to do a podcast because there wasn't really a whole lot of like hunting podcasts on the East Coast. I mean, there's a few.
Yeah, there's almost none. There was like one at the time.
Yeah,
there's a
you got,
couple,
like,
but not very many.
Yeah, you got like Truth from the Stand and stuff or whatever, but there wasn't many that had like our feel to it. So started our own podcast and just talk like hunting, fishing, trapping, rattlesnakes, all kinds of different stuff. So.
Right on. Yeah, that's what, like
That's
I said,
about it.
Seems like there's a good flow of different topics on your guys' end, and I'm always one to try to give back to people, and it's cool in the podcast community. It's either like people that want to help out or people that just want to do their own thing and not really give back. And we've always been one to say, hey, we remember what it was like at the very beginning or, a year in, and to get on a show where you can reach some new listeners, because there might be someone that's from your area that listens to us that would relate to you guys' talk and hunting tactics way more. They just haven't found you yet. So I'm hoping that that's what we can do is some guys that are like, man, I wish they'd have, some more people on in this region. And then we got you guys on, and then they got a podcast they can go to get that content that's relevant to them. Because at the end, you want the shit that you're putting out to be valuable to your listeners. It's either entertaining or valuable one or the other. And if they can relate to you guys better, that's awesome in our eyes, because we're in this for two reasons: to help people try to learn to get a little better and be selfish ourselves, and to be able to talk to people to learn a little bit about a certain tactic, one-on-one with them. So
yeah, that's something we kind of talk about quite a bit, is that like most of like the whitetail hunting podcasts or just hunting podcasts in general are all like Midwest or out West, and a lot of the tactics that you guys might use in Illinois or wherever other people are hunting don't really equate as much to Pennsylvania or,
even.
Somewhere over here on the East Coast. So it's nice to just have a full scope of the whole country, people talking about those different tactics that work in different areas.
Yes, it's definitely valuable to have a couple different podcasts, because like a lot of the stuff out in Pennsylvania, I can even relate to some of the stories you're saying. And when you guys are talking, I'm thinking back to a hunt that I had or something. Even if we're in a different state, you can still gain some kind of knowledge from it. So. Oh yeah, for sure. But second thing I got here, when you start a podcast, you got an idea of what you think it's going to be, and then you get into it, and it's something completely different. But I thought it'd be cool. You guys are a little over a year in, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably someone out there that's listening that might want to start filming or want to start podcasting or something. So what's some of the stuff that you enjoyed, bringing this podcast to the people?
So we started, like you said, a little over a year ago, and we announced on our Instagram that it was coming, like a podcast was coming, before we even knew how to do a podcast, how to put it up on an RSS feed or anything.
I think we set a date, didn't we?
Yeah, we even set a date. We said coming January 2020, this is happening. And this was that was December.
It was literally 2 days before we were supposed to release our first podcast. It was Friday night, and we're like, oh shit, how do we even put this onto a podcast platform? And me and Nick were sitting there until midnight that night figuring it out. And we're like, all right, we got it. We're good for Sunday now.
But so I guess one of the biggest things I've enjoyed about it is the connection we've made with, people from different walks of life. I guess we try to bring, one, because we're not that big, but two, we like to talk to people that aren't maybe big on social media, because I feel like some of the best hunters out there don't really care about social media, and they've got some really good things to say. Frank's dad, for instance, is he's been a guide for over 20 years up in Alaska. And I've known him my whole life, but there was a lot of stories I never got until we sat down with him and talked about it.
Nice.
And just we've just met some really cool people through social media and through the podcast. It's been a blessing, I think, for us. I mean, it's been more enjoyable and more friends to have in the hunting world, because it's, it seems like we're a dying breed, but when you look at the social media aspect, there's a lot of us out there that are like-minded people. And I think the podcast has brought us closer.
We had talked with Eric and Greg from Where to Hunt, and it was one of them. Oh,
yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Got to double check him.
And it was one of them after the podcast conversations, and we were talking about there's some guy out there who's a super badass hunter, knows a lot of tactics and stuff, but he don't have social media. Nobody knows about him, but he's out there just crushing giants. every year, you know, and like that guy is out there and he exists. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you can convince a guy to come on a podcast, a lot of the guys we have on are nervous at first, and then they get going, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh man,
totally.
that was a lot of fun." And everybody has a story to tell, and everybody, you know, wants to share their knowledge. Most people, you know, and it's just hard to get them to do it. Like if you're just having a conversation, but if you can record it, and then a lot of times I listen to you guys talk like right now, and then I listen to the podcast 3 weeks later, and I'm like, shit, something hits me, you know, when I'm listening to it later on that didn't hit me during the conversation. So it's really nice to be able to go back and pull in on those files. I've listened to Heath's podcast with us a couple times, listened to Byron's podcast a couple times. You know, the good ones
Byron's a good dude.
that relate to us, we go back and listen to and try to pull out more details from it. But what is one of the biggest pains in the ass from starting it, you guys think?
Probably audio for sure for us.
Yeah, that was huge. That's bad on both of our ends.
Yeah. So for us, like, I don't know what it is. I think it's because none of us have any sort of like technological like background. I don't even think that's a word, but like we don't know what we're doing. Like, so like for us to figure it out was like there's a lot of hiccups at the beginning, and we still run into a few audio issues. But I think our podcast, like the audio quality is pretty good. And I think that's pretty important to have a good audio quality to keep people listening. So it's important to us, but it's something we struggle with for sure.
That and coordinating 3 people's schedules too.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
But what we did, I think basically at the start of the new year, we said, okay, this year, Wednesday night is podcast night. That way, like we know nothing else happens on Wednesday night except we get together and record. But before that, like, there was a text sent out on Monday. It was like, hey, what night works for you guys to podcast? Well, someone would say, oh, Tuesday night works good for me. And someone else is like, oh, I got something going on Tuesday. So,
and Wednesday's also Blackout Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it fits hand in hand.
How can you go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Podcast, blackout, shit.
Yeah, that's perfect. Every time we're in here, like, just absolutely hammered, they're like, we get so many messages. That podcast was so good. One of the best ones you guys have ever done. I'm like, we were barely functioning as human beings.
I don't even remember that podcast.
Yeah, it's funny because like one of our earliest episodes, Tom got really rip snorting drunk, and
episode 4.
Yeah, I think it was episode 4, and like so many people were texting us and commenting like Tom was fucking killing us the whole time. Like they thought it was so funny. It was like a great podcast for us. And we're like, well, Tom doesn't even remember that one. So
the last time that happened, we were in here and Cody and I were just messing around, and because we had this little trend here, if you're smoked, somebody's going to message and say that was a really good podcast. And then it happened and we were in here and Cody's like, yep, somebody's going to message us. Sure as shit, Wednesday. Man, that was a good one.
That was a good one. I'm like, knew it.
Yeah.
Crushed that.
That was coming.
Yeah. Before we start to bring quality content, we should be like, all right, 8 beers minimal. Then we hit the
exactly.
We'd be like number 3 on the ratings for sure.
Every week.
Every week. But
who'd you have on your dog? Yeah, that's blowing.
Yeah, this guy doesn't hunt, never killed anything. Oh, this is fire.
Yeah. Let's fix them up at the local bar.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a struggle. We have a challenge with that. You know, we got kids. We both work insane hours, wives. So scheduling this and then scheduling you guys, trying to work out what best works with you, and then scheduling times. That would be the most challenging part on my end. And then homie's end, he's got all the, the making the clip, all the wires, and uploading the podcast and sending video files. He covers all that shit. My shit is just I gotta schedule the people and make the shows happen, and it's definitely challenging. But
I will say one thing about getting started with a podcast is Apple is a bitch to get on.
Apple is tough.
It kicked our ass.
Yeah, I remember back in the day we were like, remember that you had to make your image
had
a certain
to resize
size?
it.
We were like, well, how are we gonna do this? We have no idea. We're not graphic artists.
Stuff, but PC was actually the reason. One of the hardest things for us, like we talked about earlier, was like having a bank of podcasts. When we first started, we were on PC, and every time we had an extra podcast, I somehow deleted it while editing and getting it uploaded.
Oh man!
So we ended up switching over to Mac, and we've been smooth sailing since, I guess. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna stick with Mac for now, I guess. But
got to get you a hard drive. Yeah, homie's got 2 hard drives.
Yeah.
And then the computer.
Yeah, Tom's getting pissed. We filled his computer up with hours of podcasts.
Yeah, homie's computer is jocked full of.
Yeah, it gives me an error. It'll come up here probably by the end of this podcast. Manage your memory.
Yeah, but I mean, we got so much. We film weddings, we film commercials for people, we run a podcast, and you take pictures for people
Weddings.
sometimes. Yeah, it's just lot of side hustles on that one MacBook just over there.
Yeah,
we need to just buy one. We got the cash
at least by
flow,
next year. It's gonna have to be.
So. All right. Well, one of the podcasts I really liked when I was listening to your guys' show, I believe, one of you guys had finally shot a buck at the cabin, and it was a spike buck.
Over here.
Yeah, I can tell by the voice that it was your. What's all you guys' names? Break them down for it, because I want to.
Yeah, I'm Nick. I was the one that got the buck up the cabin this year,
and I'm Frank,
and Tom.
Nick,
and those two are brothers. Yeah, Nick and Tom are brothers, and I'm their cousin.
Oh, nice. That's cool. You get to hang out with your family all the time. That's pretty sweet. But that was the very first episode. I think we had messaged a little bit, and then I said,
"Well, yeah, you were asking about it," and I was like, "Well, if you're gonna listen, like check out the Deer Camp series, because that's kind of been our bread and butter this year. It was kind of where we, turned the burners up and produced some better content, more our style, I guess."
Yeah, I really liked it. I liked kind of like the jabs and stuff that you guys were throwing in there. I thought that was a lot of fun. We do the same thing with our friends.
3 years.
Yeah, we do the same thing with our friends. Do you guys have a Snapchat group for like your listeners? That was one of the
not for our listeners, no.
Yeah, that was one of our.
We should.
Oh yeah,
that'd be fun.
That'd
be easy to
tidbit of knowledge I'll put out there for you. What do we have in there?
Ain't nothing good come out of that thing, dude.
Nothing but fun. That's it.
Nothing but gun comments.
Yeah. But what do we got? Like 15 people in there? 14, 15. I don't know.
Maybe 12.
Yeah, 12. But anyways, there's been guys come in and out and stuff, but we talk to those guys every day through that outlet, and
that's a good idea.
Jabbing on there is next level. There's
I'm sure.
But
I mean,
it's a good way to reach out to your.
It's just relentless.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it's a good way to reach out to like your 10, 12 guys that listen all the time, and that would be a tip I'd tell anybody, because you can't add an ass load of people to a group. I wish you could, but it would be like it's almost too much right now.
Yeah, it used to cap at 31. It could have went up since then, but I mean that would be double, almost triple what we got.
It's almost too much right now. That shit is. After I get done with this podcast, I'll have like 16 notifications.
Yeah, if you get 3 or 4 guys in there ripping on a good conversation or something, and then we got a guy in there, Snapchat will let you record a minute video and send it. Every time it's full up. He can't send less than a minute snap.
It's a solid minute.
I'm like, well, there's a video. Oh yeah, that's a long one.
Same way.
Yeah.
But
that
episode. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, with that episode about my buck, it was a spike buck, which is that's legal in New York. But like we built a cabin, like 3 years ago, and tore down an old structure. It's all reclaimed wood, and Tom and Frank, back to back, like both got bucks real early in the first year, I think. And I was busy passing bucks and not shooting them, I guess, and whatever. But we finally this year, I told them, it's over. Something's dying. I'm killing a buck this year. And it got down into late muzzleloader season. And I think it was the last weekend, actually.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I told Tom, I said, you know what? I don't care what buck it is. If a buck walks by me, it's going down. And I set up we had a hidden food plot, like right off the swamp. We planted some radishes and turnips and stuff. And I jumped in there, and about an hour before dark, this spike come running down the hill and for some dinner. And it was one of those moments where like I knew that I was killing that deer like way before it even got into the field. And he came out, shot him, and he just ran like 40 yards and biffed it on this like creek bottom, trying to like cross it And I think immediately I tried calling Tom because he was hunting up there with me. And, I don't think he answered, but I called Frank right after that.
Yeah, you called me like
Frank,
right away.
Called some other buddies, and then finally Tom called me back and he's like, buck or doe. Told him it was buck. He comes running down the hill. And it was just an awesome experience. There was a lot of jabs and stuff, but you take them well.
We've been making fun of Nick for 2 years now for not shooting a buck. Me and Tom got a couple of them up there at the cabin, and Nick hasn't shot one yet. So every time we're sitting around the table drinking beers, we're looking at all the heads on the wall. We're like, Nick, where's yours at?
Yeah. I heard you had a turkey, though. That's like, that
thank you.
Shit, man.
Yeah,
I got your back.
Kind of bullshit, though.
That's a bullshit
I hung
turkey.
the beard. Yeah, I hung the beard like right above the table, so it's just like dangling above everybody's heads all night long. But
nice.
Yeah, that's kind of one of our rules at the cabin. Every buck so far that's been killed there, back before the property was even mine and Tom's, is in that cabin right now. Like all the racks are still there. So it's kind of neat to sit at the cabin table, eating dinner or drinking beers or whatever. And you can look around and every buck that's been killed there since it's been in our family is hanging in there. So that's been pretty neat for myself to finally get one up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I seen when Mark Kenyon merged with Meat Eater and Mark started making some video content there. They went into like his dad's, I'm not sure if it was his house or his cabin, but they had every buck that had been shot by his dad. And, there probably was a deer over 60 inches on the wall, but they were all up there, just lined across, just skull-capped, and just to be able to go to a forked horn and just tell a story about it. And, Mark's dad's absolutely jacked about it, and it's cool as hell to be able to have that memory and just be able to go back and be like, all these deer here were taken, right here or wherever, and just like you guys doing. That's cool shit to look back on, and especially when you're ripped hammered at 3 a.m. on deer camp.
Yeah, exactly.
We everybody that's ever been to the cabin, we nail dollar bills to the ceiling just kind of memories, just put your name on a dollar bill and put it on the ceiling, kind of mark your spot. Just been a really cool, camaraderie thing that we got going on at the cabin.
Yeah. So I have you guys on while I got you. I haven't heard, is there an episode that you guys talk about the cabin or anything like that you guys have done? Or
we bring it up.
Yeah. I was going to say episode 1.
No, the cabin that we don't break I guess I wouldn't listen to episode 1. The audio is still pretty shoddy. But,
dude, the first 70,
I can break down.
The first 70 of ours is shitty, but yeah, I was just wondering, is it something that you guys built, or was it something that you bought, or?
So I guess I'll break it down. The property's been in our family for 3 generations. My grandfather owned it, my dad owned it, and then a couple of years ago, my dad signed it over to me and my brother, and we've been hunting up there. It's like 45 minutes from our house. And we've been heading up there, on weekends and hunting and stuff, and always talked about how nice it'd be if we could just camp up here during hunting season for a weekend. And finally, one year, my granddad, he used to raise beef cattle and had this old structure out back that he built, before I was even born. And it had been sitting out in the back field forever, pretty much. And he was tired of it and said, if you tear it down, you guys can have all the wood off this thing. We're like, all right, cool. We were all, broke in college and stuff, and we'll take free wood. So we spent out a couple weeks out there tearing it down, real careful, kept all the plywood, kept all the 2x4s, everything. Hauled it all up there, and luckily Frank's dad actually does construction, so he helped us lay out to make it safe. And so we weren't doing anything dumb, but everything besides I think half a dozen 2x6s is totally reclaimed. Right down to where we have oak floors in the cabin, and then when you first walk in, and then where the wood stove is all tile that was off of an old job my Uncle Frank did. And then last year we expanded.
Expanded.
My old supervisor at work lost his job there, and he had his office was a shed inside the building, and my boss wanted to cut it up and throw it in the dumpster. And I was like, I'll load that on a trailer. I got this. So I took the whole thing up, parked it beside the other cabin. Now we just opened Shooter's Tavern this year. So now we can, we've got a bar on the cross there. It's got power and everything with a generator. So It's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of blood and sweat put into it, because we totally built it ourselves. And even right down to the shingles is all like stuff from people were like, oh, I heard you building a cabin. I got like an extra bundle of shingles from when we did our garage. So like everybody that like we know was like just pitched in and was like, here, I got half a bundle of shingles. You can have those. Or
we got 6 different colored shingles on there.
Architectural.
Yeah, so you guys should do a podcast breaking that down, because
we definitely should do like a full breakdown.
Yeah, because that's like not something that happens very often, I don't think, especially around here. No. And I don't know very few people that like go to deer camp even anymore. It does not happen. So when I heard that you guys up there, like that would be like when you guys were like, oh yeah, we'll trade an Illinois hunt. I'm like, damn, that'd be pretty fun. You know what I mean? It's pretty damn tempting. I don't care what I shoot, but like just going up there for 3 days. And then I looked and seen how far it was. I was like, shit, way out there, man. It'd be a long road trip. So
we're as far northwest in PA, and then we're just over the border in New York is where the we call the headquarters.
Yeah.
So
definitely a different world up there. I mean, you guys got a lot more hunters and a lot more hunting tradition. Yeah. I think it just seems like it's a lot stronger than here. So maybe
tradition's huge.
Maybe having a cabin and having that camaraderie is normal for you guys, but around here it's just something that we don't see a lot. I'm sure there's some guys out there that don't have social that are still doing it and going to a cabin and hanging out, but it's just big buck this and got sheds off this buck and all that, and which is awesome. We love that shit, but it'd be really cool to go to a camp with just like the stress of you're like, my goal is to get hammered and have a badass time for 3 days instead of I'm gonna go up here and kill something. Like every time we go out there,
I gotta kill. Yeah.
Every time we go out there, we're like, we gotta kill, and you just the whole season be like, I'm just gonna go up to the cabin, wife. I don't know if I'm gonna kill shit or not, but I'm gonna have a damn good time. Like that would be it'd be refreshing as hell.
And then when you do kill, we take the heart and tenderloins that night, put a stew right on the stove, and like just let it slow cook on the stove all night while you're drinking beer. And just about the time you forget that you started doing it, it's done. Good to go.
I'm a terrible cook when I'm hammered drunk.
That's why you got to drink.
Yeah, I've ate like maybe like a quarter done squirrel over a wood burner. Did not die. That shit was so rare. That was terrible, but it was decent at that point. You know what I mean? But no salt, no pepper, no nothing out there. I was like, like
straight?
Salt, pepper? Yeah, nope, just straight. Split that sucker out.
This was like 4 or 5 years ago. I went salmon fishing up in Alaska, and we caught a shit ton of pink salmon this one day. And I didn't know this. I knew nothing about fishing in Alaska. Like, I'm this PA boy flying. I don't know. It was like a 10-hour flight or some shit. But we caught all these pink salmon. We're all jacked up. We take them home and cook them. Well, while we're cooking them, we're all drinking beers, getting all hooched up and stuff, celebrating our catch. And we ate this salmon, and it was like the best salmon I ever had in my life. Well, come to find out, pink salmon, like the natives won't even feed that shit to their dogs.
Pink salmon's like the
it's
worst
disgusting.
Shit. Yeah.
I brought some home. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Yeah. What do you got?
I brought some home, and I was all excited, told my parents like, oh, this is the best stuff I ever had. Well, cooked it up and ate it without having a few beers, and it was disgusting. Like, I understand why the natives didn't feed it to their dogs. It was rough.
I did the same thing. I went to Idaho, and they have a salmon snagging seas down there for landlocked salmon that are like dying pretty much. You can snag 30 a day. And I was like, hell yeah. So I put my Yeti just as full as I could get that shit. Went home, was eating it. I was like, damn, I had to make salmon patties out of all of it. The only way to consume that shit. But I'm the same way. I was like, hell yeah, I'm taking all this salmon home. This is going to be awesome, But definitely not any good. But yeah, just having a cabin to go to. That's something we had a hunting heritage podcast we did, and having a place just for your kids to be able to go up there, and you guys and how your grandkids be able to go up there, and you guys created it. You don't think it right now, but that's going to be special as hell when your kid gets to take his kid to that cabin. That's going to be I don't know if you guys plan on having kids or have kids, but it's going to be a very special moment when they're going to be like, damn, yeah, Grandpa built this sucker, like all of it. I mean, that's going to be
they're going to find all the whiskey bottles in the walls,
yeah.
too.
Then you're like, yeah, that 6-pointer was, 28 years ago or something. I mean, that's just going to be so – I wish I had that. Like, I wish I had the place to be able to go with my grandpa or whatever and be like, yeah, this buck I killed in, 91 or, 2001.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be so sick to see, so. Mad props for you guys putting the time in. I know it couldn't have been easy. I'm sure it was all generators and shit.
Definitely.
A lot of labor of love right there. But definitely.
We had the the vision of what it was going to be when we were done, and it's wonderful. We love it. So
the property itself still a work in progress. I know there wasn't an oak tree on the farm last year. And would we plant
over 200 oak trees
in the spring? And I just got an order. I ordered it yesterday, a bunch of fruit trees and some pine trees and stuff that we're putting up there.
Nice, man. So, that'd be awesome. Yeah, you guys are making a very special place for kids and grandkids, and you guys enjoy it when you get older. And
that's the plan anyway.
Yeah, I hope it goes full circle for you guys. You guys start shooting some nice fun. Class deer up there. But I know with that cabin going on and what you guys got, hanging out there so much, there's got to be like one epic story that you guys can actually tell on air. So if there was one epic story that you could let the listeners know a little bit more about what you guys do up there, your personalities, what do you think it would be?
Night one.
Yeah, probably night one. It's I guess it'd be like night 0.5 because the cabin wasn't officially done. We were, just so jacked to have this thing done, and it wasn't done yet, but like basically
the walls and the roof were there.
Yeah, but like the eaves were still open and the peak was still open. It hadn't really been like dried in yet.
No insulation.
Yeah, no insulation, and it's like snowing outside. And all we had we had like some cardboard, some sticks, and like some 2x4s to burn in the wood stove. And we had burned like everything by probably like 2-3 in the morning. And we're like all huddled around this like wood stove trying to get warm. And like we were supposed to hunt the next morning, and we were like frozen. It was, like in the teens, and we're just like huddling around this thing. And we found like there's like this diner that like opens at like 5:30 for like all the old folks in town, and we just like huddled like trying to stay warm until like 5:30 and we could go and get like warmed up. But
there weren't quite enough beers that night.
We got any warm beers? We got any warm beers?
I say you needed some Fireball. It sounded like.
There's been plenty of drunken nights at the cabin that any deer camp would have.
Yeah.
But we got our buddy Trevor, and he killed his first buck ever at the cabin with us. And just for to be at somebody's first buck other than my own and stuff, like the kid, he grew up like 2 hours south of us, and
like Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, like Pittsburgh area. So like for us, that's like 2 hours.
He's a city kid.
Big city kid. Never really hunted or anything. Came up here for college. We became buddies just because Tom and Frank worked with them, and got into hunting because of us. And Tom got him his first turkey in the spring. And then that fall we took him up. He got his first buck up at the cabin. We got totally drunk that night, like just partied our asses off for Trevor, and cooked the heart and tenderloins on the stove, and just had a good old time. And he actually, we didn't ask him to, but he wanted his buck in the cabin too. Like that was like he didn't even want to bring it home. He's like, I want it. Yeah, like because I never would have asked him to leave your first buck, because like I got my first buck at home, and he's like, no, man, like every buck that's been killed here is up on the wall. Like I want mine a part of that. So, his buck's still on the wall. We got his picture up there, and he still has a blast up there all the time with us, but it's just been pretty cool to have that part of it as well.
Just out of curiosity, is there any bushes close to your cabin?
Yeah, this is important.
Because if
very important
if homie ever makes it up there, that's where he'll end up if he gets hammered.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's how Tom is.
It's not that obvious. It's like an actual bush, like a tree bush. That we have an inside joke where when I shot my 193, he almost got stabbed at the bar.
Smokes.
And then how cold was it? It was like
It was snowing.
Yeah.
There was 4 inches of snow.
He was
on the
in
ground.
a T-shirt.
It sounds more like premium content.
Yeah. He was in a T-shirt, and we got this snap that's legendary, saved from our Snapchat group. He's in this bush, hiding out. He's got this giant chew in. Don't even chew. He's got a giant chew in. He's spitting, and he's like, "They're trying to find me. They're trying. I'm out here in this bush." This biker gang trying to find me. He's like, "I called my wife. She's on my way." I'm like,
Yeah.
So that's more flavor of your first buck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're
I don't know
keeping
if we
it
ever
PG,
told
I
that
guess.
on air. Or not.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I had a 2-week-old baby at home. She
Oh,
had
yeah.
to get out of bed. Had a 2-year-old, had to get out of bed. It was closing time of the bar, so it was
Yeah.
2:30 probably.
Yeah.
I'm out there outrunning a biker gang through the snow. Hey, I just didn't want the
man.
night to end. Cody shot freeze.
Hey,
I just didn't want the night
We've
to
got
end, man.
nights like that.
Yeah.
That's Frank killed the biggest buck on the property on a drunken night like that. Actually.
Yeah. Almost, I got smacked by a girl at the bar, and then we went home from there, fell asleep, got up in the morning, and I wasn't in the woods 10 minutes and shot the biggest buck we've ever killed up there. It's not a monster, but it's a decent
For a
buck.
New York
yeah.
buck, it's a really good
Yeah.
deer.
That's
But we
badass.
barely even made it into the woods that morning. And
We were back drinking whiskey by like 8:30 in the morning.
yeah.
It was like
Beautiful.
over.
That sounds beautiful.
It was fun.
Well, going back to that first night in the cabin, that I bet you guys being all family and you're just around that stove, no electricity. You might have your phones, but it's probably too cold to even get your hands out. So you're just sitting
Phones
there,
were dead by then.
Yeah, they were
honestly.
dead.
Like,
sitting
it
there
was just so
talking,
cold.
enjoying each other's company. So it probably sucked in
Yeah,
that
right.
moment, but it's that tight B fun that you look
Oh,
back and you're like,
absolutely.
man, that was actually pretty badass.
Oh, yeah.
We do that a
Oh,
lot.
yeah,
we
we,
still
that's,
laugh about
yeah.
it.
This is
Yeah, we did. That's
legit,
definitely
but-
one of our favorite stories to tell about the cabin is that first night because Nick had, a bunch of like small hardwood pieces that, like a foot long, just fire starting pieces so you can actually get a fire going in the wood stove. And he had a ton of them. And he's like, yeah, this will, be good fire starters for us for, the whole year and a half, whatever. Just burn a couple of them here and there. And then that night we burned every single one of them standing there like, what the hell? This sucks.
You're like, what
That's- yeah, that started the
2x4?
whole
Yeah, what 2x4 do we not need to hold this sucker up? It's going in the
yeah,
air.
exactly.
I mean, that started the whole inside joke with us about like there not being a draft in the cabin because like it was drafty at first because obviously we didn't have everything closed off.
Yeah.
So like now it's like fully insulated and everything, and it's like we'll be sitting at the table like 15 beers in or whatever, and it's like you guys don't feel a draft, do you? Like, oh hell no, there's no draft in here. It's like we've got hit like triple digits on the thermometer, temp gauge, and it's. I mean, the wood stove we've got in there is like good for like 4 times the size of the place.
Yeah.
And it just, it almost cooks you out.
Something
But
about a good
it's
wood
fun.
stove when you walk into a place
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Nothing like wood heat.
You got a good wood
Yeah.
stove going, just homey and warm, cooking on that son
Yeah.
bitch. I mean, that thing's
Oh
pretty
yeah, shitty coffee in the morning on a percolator.
Hell yeah. Wake up still drunk. That sounds like
Can't wait to have some shit coffee.
yeah. It sounds like it would be fun for like 3 days at a time, and then you'd be like, I gotta get that.
That's top
Yeah.
max.
Exactly.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. I need to cut loose and relax for 3 days, and then you're like, all right, it's Sunday. I'm about to get the hell out of this place and go home.
Yeah.
Time to get civilized again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was what, two years ago? I spent a week by myself in the cabin. It was like winter break or something for college. I decided I was gonna head up there and do a little trapping excursion for a week. And I tell you, after a week of nothing,
No
like,
power,
no
no
power, no electricity, no nothing. Like I went a little nuts.
I can imagine. Like the first day, you'd be like, man, it's kind of nice. This ain't bad. And then
Oh,
day,
it was
day-
it was sweet to disconnect and everything, but then after a week, it's like,
Yeah, day 3, you're
man,
like,
this,
shit, there ain't nothing going on right now.
Yeah.
yeah. I'd
Go
wake
check
up
your
in the
traps
morning
again.
at like 7, 8 o'clock. I'd go check my trap line, and then I get back at like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, shit, I have 12 hours before I go to bed. Like, I don't know what to do now. But it was a good time.
All right. Well, just this point, I want you guys to let people know kind of where they can find your brand, where they can find your podcast, your social, and And then I don't know if you guys have individual socials that you guys want to give out, but let the listeners know where they can find you guys.
Yeah, so on Instagram, we're whitecat_outdoors. And on Facebook, we're just White Cat Outdoors. There's like a link tree in both of our social medias that sends you to all of our podcasts. But we're on pretty much every platform at this point, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, like the big ones. You look up White Cat Outdoors and it's pretty easy. You type in White Cat Outdoors on Google, you'll find our website and every platform we're on.
Nice.
We have our podcast on YouTube, and there's like a couple, gear review videos and stuff, but like we haven't dove into that quite yet, but you can check that out. We're not active on social media besides White Cat Outdoors.
I post on mine like once a year.
Yeah, so there's no reason to follow that. But White Cat Outdoors, it's more than just hunting for us. Like it's hunting whitetails. It's, guiding up in Alaska. It's fishing, playing with rattlesnakes down in the mountains. It's just a little flavor of everything outdoors. And our big tagline is, get outside. Just whatever by any means necessary, just get outside, bring somebody else with you. And, basically that's it for us.
Nice. Yeah. Can't beat that, man. Getting outside. That's a great message to let people, they need to hear it. They'd be like, damn it, I need to get out of here. Cause I know some people that I could having a desk job and some bullshit like that. I'd go insane. I don't know how people do it. I have no idea.
Nope.
Yeah. I'm outside every day.
Yeah.
For hours and hours, so.
We end every podcast with that. Yeah. Every single podcast at the end, we just, that's what we leave. Just get outside by any means, whether it's fishing, hunting, trapping, shed hunting, whatever you want to do, just get outside.
Yeah. I know you guys have talked about filming, so hopefully I get to see a little film from you guys this year if you guys are going to partake in that.
We got some, a lot of little clips and stuff. We haven't, dove into like making a full production yet, but we got a lot of, like smaller clips, just from overhunt and stuff. We still are working with Adobe and trying to figure out how to put it together to make it a good story.
Yeah, we've got some camera equipment, so we're working on it. It's sort of like the podcast thing. It's slowly but surely coming along.
Just put a date on it and let it rip.
Yeah, we'll just start telling people this day is when we're doing it, so we'll have to figure it out.
Video's coming out in July.
Yeah, we started filming. We had the worst gear that you could possibly get, probably. So everybody's got to start somewhere, and then we just invested and took our time. And if it's something you guys enjoy, you want to keep growing there. But this is new for.
That's actually.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, like for. The big thing with us, like, setting things out there is like we always announce it before we actually know what we're doing. But like the big thing with the podcast, from day one, our mission statement's always been like bringing people to the table while we talk about the outdoors. So coming real soon, we're going to it's going to be a live podcast every Wednesday. While we're meeting, we're going to make it an interactive thing where people can literally, join us at the table. And if they've got questions for us or our guests, just like join in on a live feed. And they can participate and join in with us. It's going to be every Wednesday at 6. That should be the next week or two for us. So that'll be something more to get our guests, our listeners involved, and more than just like putting a message on Instagram. They can just tune in for a few minutes, have a beer with us, and just kind of kick it back and be a part of it with us, because that's what we want, is just bringing people together.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Live video is cool. Get comments coming in. Yeah, you could bring some value to people.
Yeah.
Because, us over here, we're like, what do you think the listeners would like to listen, would like to hear? And it's nice when you guys live comments coming in and they say, what about this tactic? And you guys can touch on that. Or what about this story? And you guys can go off that. So I think that's a great idea. Reach more people and like you said, bring more people to the outdoors. And that's your guys' mission. That's definitely a good one because COVID got the numbers up, so I'll be interested to see if they're still like, there's numbers are going down, but numbers are way up this year, so hopefully the trend continues. But one thing we've been adding is a life lesson. I didn't send this in you guys' show notes, so
surprise.
We've been trying to add a life lesson. Maybe it's hunting, work related, family related, anything that you could give our listeners. One tidbit of advice you wish you would have known earlier. Me and homie we like hunting and shit, but we also like to try to live the absolute best life you can, you know what I mean? Whether it's with our families or whatever. So I think the last one we got on the last episode was really solid. So we'll start with you, Nick. If you could give one tidbit of knowledge, what do you think? What do you think you'd give?
So for me, like it applies to hunting directly, but it also can be used for life as well. And I'm a big proponent or advocate for hunt your own hunt. And what that means to me is, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Do what's, what is important to you and what's like, don't worry about if somebody's shooting 180s. If you're happy shooting a spike, do it. And you can apply that to life too. Like, you don't have to worry about, whoever I went to school with doing this or whatever. Like, stay in your lane, hunt your hunt, and just do your own thing and do what makes you happy.
That's great, man. We live by that like 110%.
Yeah,
and when you actually can do that, it's a game changer. When you just stop giving a shit about, my life is solid, so I'm good. I don't give a shit what you got going on. Besides, if it's someone I care about, like homie, I'm gonna message him and be like, I'm gonna tweak this guy a little bit and get him motivated to go a little more. But all right, Frank, you're up.
I would definitely say just like try new things all the time. Like with us rattlesnake hunting and stuff, that's something that none of us had ever thought about doing before. And then all of a sudden we're like, let's go try this. It's something in the summertime, we don't really have anything that gets us going outside, going out, walking in the woods. So rattlesnake season's in the middle of summer. So let's go out and do that. Just anything that gets you outside or just doing something new, different times of the year, any time of the year, try something new. There's something you've never done before, never thought about doing. Just find something that might pique your interest and give it a shot. If it does, sweet, keep doing it. If not, then move on to something else, find something else new that'll get you going.
People think I'm crazy for hand fishing. These guys out there rattlesnake hunting.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I got shit on them, man. I got shit. All right, Tom, you're up, man. You've been over there in the corner being quiet.
I'm gonna have to say, live in the moment. I know a lot of times, like, I'll be out in the tree stand hunting or something, and I recently graduated college, but I'd be thinking about like, oh shit, I got this homework to do. I got this exam I got to worry about. I got this going on at work. And I think it takes away a lot from, what's going on at that specific time. I think it's really important to, concentrate on what you're doing now, not letting all the outside stuff deter you from, what you're trying to focus on at that time. And I know, like, it's very tough to do, but if you can, focus on, just being in the tree stand right now, focus on, the birds chirping or, the squirrel you see running underneath your tree, it makes the hunt a lot more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that one too.
Yeah, it's hard to put that shit on the back burner while you're out there, but a guy needs that time. Yeah. I think that's like people ask me like when I'm at the gym what I think about. I'm like, I don't think about nothing, dude. My brain is blank as shit. I need that like
monkey and symbols.
Yeah, I need that freaking 45 minutes, an hour to just blank out, and then I come out of there. I'm like, all right, let's start this day. Same thing with hunting. You go out there and have a good, refreshing hunt. Maybe you didn't see what you were looking for, but you live in that moment and you come out of it a little bit fresher. And then also living in the moment, you're going to pick up on more stuff if you're not distracted by your phone or other shit,
Yeah.
Because, just like us, I mean, the whitetails, man, you got a 10-second reaction time on most of your kills, and if you're not in the moment, you're definitely miss out on some opportunities. So that was good. Three. I like throwing this. I thought it might be a little harder throwing it at people, but everybody's just crushing it. Everybody we had on so far is just crushing it. But all right, guys. Well, you got anything else that you want to let our listeners know?
No, just check out our podcast if you like it. Subscribe so you can keep listening. Let us know what you think. I guess. I mean, we're fluid, so I mean, if stuff people don't like, we can change it up, do what you want. So yeah, just check us out and let us know what you think.
If it's like November 2nd and I wake up randomly in the middle of the night, I know you guys are going to be hammered in a cabin.
Like, man,
that's accurate.
Those White Cat boys are really getting it on right now.
Yeah, right? They're just ripped.
Yeah.
Might have to sneak into that Snapchat group. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
That would be epic. All right, guys. Well, we definitely enjoyed that episode. Really cool to have these off-season off-seasons episodes, to kind of talk about hunting heritage and just the fun of hunting and get away from kind of the stressful tactic kind of killing. But it's nice to mix it up. So last week we hit you with a hardcore tactic. This week we're coming at you with just a little fun. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure and check out their show. Good dudes. Like I said, if you're from the East Coast and you like our show, awesome. But if you're trying to find something that's relatable, check out their show. Coming out on a different day at a different time. So like we say in this podcast, we should be a team out here trying to get everybody involved, motivated to get out there and reach their goals, whether it's killing a buck or killing a giant or hunting for the first time. So I really enjoyed this episode, and those guys would definitely be a fun group to hang out with.
Hell yes, they would.
We had a lot of struggles at the beginning of the episode. We're still figuring out this Zoom video on YouTube and everything, but we're starting to get the hang of it.
It was a shit show together, though. At least, so.
They were a little bit messed up. We were a little bit messed up. So we hope you guys enjoy it. Like always, try to do the right thing. Leave a legacy, and Whitetail Legacy is out.